One of the most interesting and forthcoming topics in our field today is the use of social media for micro learning. Now, what this means is that using social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, things like that, for the purposes of supporting learning at a more micro scale. Now, how this might be useful is if you're teaching a course, instead of having a learner, let's say, read an entire article or something of that nature, possibly there are specific pieces of information or opportunities for dialogue that are extracted from that, and then that is presented via social media platform. So let's take a look at a quick example here for a design pattern. Now, what I'm going to do is actually really rely mostly here on a practice building block. Now, the practice building block, in this case, we're going to call it a sort of essay writing. And we know that in many cases, this essay writing can occur in many different phases. So there's a lot of feedback. So we're going to say iterative design. Okay, and so once we have that practice building block there together, then we're actually ready to begin sort of looking at how do we support this essay writing process with micro learning social media. And so let's say for one thing, we might have a Twitter feed that we begin curating content in. And so this would be writing tips, we'll call it. And we'll say that that, again, is delivered via Twitter. All right, so we have sort of a live feed that's going in here. Let's say, for example, we need some way of supporting feedback. And so in this particular case, let's use Flickr, or even better yet, we'll use SlideShare. So this would be for sharing drafts of writing. Okay, and then so as I mentioned that we're going to actually enable that through SlideShare. And SlideShare is typically used for PowerPoint slides and things of that nature, but can also be used very effectively with PDFs and social commenting from that regard. Okay, and then the other, we're going to add one more piece into here, and then let's say that that is going to be pieces of information. And in this particular case, they might be curated articles or curated examples of, of various writing prompts. And there's a social media tool that I use quite a bit called Scoopit. And Scoopit basically curates content. Now, there are many different tools that you might decide to use and pull in here, but in general, we're going to be looking at how do we support some sort of practice exercise through some sort of dialogue, whether it be through writing tips, sharing, probably through getting feedback, through sharing drafts and things of that nature, and allowing learners to see examples. These are three sort of areas that our micro-learning strategy might reside around. Now, so what we want to do is actually connect things based on this practice exercise. So in many ways, this would be kind of a micro design pattern. So as we have elements that are going here, we're going to kind of move those there. And so the learner will actually access each of these in that way. And they have, so they would actually begin prior to the exercise and then continue after that, often to other sort of activities possibly. But for the most part, this is going to be a opportunity for them to rehearse and practice that essay writing that they're involved with. Now, this particular method obviously is going to work quite well in online asynchronous environments. So if we bring that piece over, we can bring that to the back there. But it can also be used very equally well in experiential learning environments. So here I have a very simple design pattern for supporting micro-learning. via social media platforms such as, in this particular case, Twitter. I use SlideShare and Scoopit.